Hello Year 9 and welcome back to another design lesson. It is Miss Allen here. So far what you've done in your design lessons is your 3D project, but now you have finished your 3D project and we're going to be moving on to your textiles project, okay? The first thing that you need to do is collect your equipment that you are going to be needing for this task. You are going to need a sharpener, a rubber, a pencil, a ruler, an A4 piece of paper and a spoon. Okay, what we're going to be doing is doing a first hand live observational drawing of the spoon. You need to upload your work to class charts after this work is complete. Make sure you're uploading a really nice clear image of your work so that your teachers can see exactly what you have done and all the detail that you have included in your work. Okay, if you want to pause the video now and go and collect all your equipment, and I'll see you again soon. Welcome back Year 9. What we are going to be doing today is drawing an object. Okay, we are looking at the spoon. The reason we are drawing an object like a spoon is because you can see that with the spoon there are lots of light tones, lots of really dark tones, lots of kind of medium tones which show a little bit of light and dark, and you're going to be focusing on creating these different tones in your drawing. Okay, so we're not just doing a line drawing, we're doing a tonal drawing which is really nice and detailed. Make sure you're not copying my drawing. You need to make sure you're finding a spoon in your home that is nice and simple. Okay, so you can see that the spoon I've chosen doesn't have any pattern work on. It's a nice straight spoon and it's really simple, and you're going to be able to get the best drawing you can out of it. Okay, so you don't want to choose something like this where you've got some pattern work on unless you feel like you're really able to create that drawing. Okay, so we're going to begin. What you need to do is you need to separate your spoon into 3 sections. You've got the top half, the top section, the middle section and the bottom section, and you're going to just draw out them sections separately onto the paper, okay? Making sure that you're focusing on the different shapes that the spoon has. Okay, it's not just all one thickness, it gets a little bit thinner up here, so you need to make sure that you're showing that really simple change in your drawing. Okay, and try and keep your drawing as symmetrical on the page as possible. Okay, you want it to be right in the center. Okay, and then I'm just going to draw the top half so you can see how this distance is a lot smaller than this distance here. Make sure that your line drawing is exactly how you want it, so that before you start adding your tone, your outline is accurate and you can create the shapes of lighting in the exact same way as you see them on the object. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw out my lighting shapes. You can see here. And yours won't look exactly the same as this because you'll have different lighting in your house. So remember not to copy mine. And remember, a spoon is a 3D object, so the shapes aren't all just going to be square, they're going to curve around the edge. Make sure you're really incorporating this detail in your work. Okay, so I'm just getting the shapes as accurate as I can. And see all this detail that I'm incorporating into my drawing. Really focus on getting them shapes. Okay, so I'm going to just do a bit on this, and with the kind of stem of the spoon, the handle, you need to make sure that you're showing that that is not a flat object. You can see at the bottom here that it comes out a little bit and it's got a section at the bottom which pops out. Also, with a 3D object, you're always going to have shadow. So you need to make sure you're showing that shadow so that your object really pops out the page. Okay, you want to feel like your spoon is coming out of the page once you're finished. Okay, after you've drawn out your shapes of light, you need to now go back and use your tonal skills. If you feel that you are not as strong as you were when you were at school with your tonal skills, you can always take a separate piece of paper and just have a little practice. Okay, you've got your dark tones, you've got your medium tones, and you've got your light tones. Okay, and then show that contrast in between. Allow yourself some time to practice and blend them colours, blend them tones, so that you're at a level which you feel confident when applying it to your drawing. Okay, and you can see that my practicing of my tones blend together really nicely. I've not gone dark tone, light tone, dark tone, where it doesn't blend together very well. I've taken my time and I've done it really neatly. Okay, so you want to do the exact same thing with your spoon when you're focusing on the lighting. Okay, so I'm going to start with the darker sections. Okay, and I'm really going to take my time with making sure that I'm defining the shapes. And I can actually see myself in this, in the spoon, and you probably will too if you have it at the same angle as me. Okay, because the spoon is lifted up so it faces towards you. Okay. Constantly defining your shapes. Okay, there's some much lighter areas around here, and I feel like I've gone a little bit too dark in this area because you can see here that there's quite a light area. So I'm just going to use my rubber. I'm just going to correct that. Okay, the rubber is a really good way to show your tones and show your light. Make sure you're not using your finger to blend. You need to show your tonal skills with your pencil. Show how pressing lightly with your pencil will create your light tones. Pressing harder with your pencil will create your dark tones. You need to really focus on creating this kind of technique in your work. Okay, really blending it in. And as it is a curved object, you need to make sure that the direction of your pencil strokes are going in a way which will define the shape of the spoon. Okay, so down here you've got a lot darker areas. Again, I'm not completely cutting these two colours off because there's a darker colour here and it's still a dark colour here but not as dark. Okay, so making sure I'm getting that contrast in. It's really, really important that you're practicing how to get that contrast. Really, really focusing on all the detail. Making sure you're constantly blending your tones together so that it doesn't look blotchy and your work kind of flows and it looks a lot more natural, because if you look at it in real life, you don't see just big chunks of colour. You can see it all blending together really nicely. Okay, and then just go over the areas you want to like lighten up. Okay, and the rim of the spoon here has some lighting on too, so I'm not going to colour that all in the darker colours which do rest on the side. I'm going to make sure I'm defining that rim so that my object is constantly looking 3D and not turning into a flat shape. Okay, and then go over that and make sure you're defining your shadow areas. Making your object really pop out the page and feel really lifelike. And with shadows, they're always going to blend into the background and always going to look really, really subtle. Okay, and then the final thing you need to do is you need to look at your drawing. Does your drawing resemble the object that you have just drawn? How can you refine your object? You need to always, always, always look back on your work and constantly think, how can I improve this? How can I develop my work and make it better than what it is? Constantly think about the different things that you can do to improve your work and push your abilities so that your drawings become the best they can be and your skills develop to the best they can be. Okay, you want your drawings to pop out the page. So I'm looking back at it. What can I do to improve it? I'm going to define the edges. I'm going to use my rubber to just define that lighting. I'm going to use my pencil to just blend in some extra tones that I didn't blend as well as I should have. Okay, constantly thinking about how to improve your work. Don't stop there. It's got to take you at least an hour to complete this work. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my object out the way and I'm going to create a background. But I want my background to look really nice and really neat. So this is where my ruler comes in. You're going to line your ruler up with the top of your paper and you're going to mark two centimeters either side. Okay, and the same at the bottom. 2 centimeters either side. And then again at the top, 2 centimeters either side, and then the bottom, 2 centimeters either side. And you're just going to draw really faint lines, okay, from them points that you've just drawn. Just so you have a really nice outline ready for when you create your background, okay, and you know how far to go on the page. Okay, really faint. You need to take your ruler now and line it up with that line. And if you have another ruler, you can do the same down the side so that you don't go over the line. You don't have to do this. And then you're just going to take your pencil and you're going to shade in the background. And try and do this all in one direction. If you do it all in one direction, your piece of artwork will look a lot neater. Your control of your pencil will develop, and you'll be able to really get that control with your pencil and understand how to create the tones of the background. And if certain areas come out of the lines, all you need to do when you've finished is just go down the lines and define these areas. Okay, and ultimately you want to have a drawing which looks something like this, where you've taken your time with it, you've really focused on the shape, the tones, the outline, everything that you need to do to create your live observational drawing to the best of your abilities. Okay, so what you need to do now is you need to take a really clear image. Okay, so make sure you're standing in a good position. Take a really good image of your drawing and upload that onto class charts for your teachers to see. Okay, thank you. I will see you next lesson, and I look forward to seeing all of your outcomes.